Welcome to the Val and Ann Show. I'm Val.
I'm Ange.
All right, on the field, off the field.
We got your game plan.
Let's take the game to the next level.
Let's go.
An effort.
There he is.
And
we
we're
started.
back again. There we
We're
go.
rolling.
All right. Yeah. We're back again. Oh, we are on it. And today we have a special guest. All right. Obviously, we bring a ton of mental and physical knowledge to our podcast here, but we have a special guest on here today. All right. This young lady I've watched for a lot of years, watching her development, watching her growth, from high school to Maryland to finishing her career at Seton Hall and then starting a new chapter in her life. It's awesome. She's a special one, and we're going to keep it that way. We're going to keep her rolling. With no doubt, I want to introduce Faith Masonius. Hi, Faith.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
It's been a
We're
long
excited
time
to have
coming.
It has been a long time coming.
But we're here
All right.
now, and we've been thinking long and hard about how we want to kick off this leadership and symposium that we're going to be launching in January 25th. And, you're a key part of that. But your road and development of one, just being a athlete, but also being a female athlete with such a high ceiling and, the presence that you carried. And has a ton of questions that I know she's going to just unravel at you. And then, we just go back and forth. We're going to have fun with it. That's what we do. We have fun with what we do, and we love what we do, and we cherish everything that we talk about because it's the product. So,
All right.
and
Yeah. So I got to meet Faith about a month ago, and she absolutely made an impression on me right away. Little things that I look for in just to basically put it out there as a leader, as someone that's going to change the world, is that she immediately responds. She comes with a ton of energy, and she puts in little lessons that she's learned already. She's an empowered woman, do great things. We're happy to have her on board with us a little bit. And I think you being the first guest that we have on here is exciting. So Faith, just tell our guests about your journey as an athlete, just like where you played very lightly, and then what you're doing now, and then we'll dive in.
Yeah, well, first off, I just want to say thanks for having me. It's been an exciting little ride working with you guys, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But to start off, I am obviously from New Jersey, where, we all are, but I played basketball my whole life. I grew up in a huge family, one of 10 kids. I played basketball, I think, from the third grade up until last year officially came to an end. But my whole career, I played high school basketball at Madison High School, then went on to play at the University of Maryland, where I played there for 5 years. I suffered an injury, COVID year, all that. So I got an extra 2 years of college. So finished out my career at the University of Maryland. It was a fun ride, and then went on to my 6th year at Seton Hall University. Big blessing to come home and be back in New Jersey. And then now I am actually working. I do social media, so I love making content. I'm working with both Val and Ange to, just marketing, all that stuff, working at Val's gym. Been having a blast and trying to figure it out. Post-college has been a little difficult trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, but here I am today, living day by day, having a blast.
Love it. Taking risks,
Taking-
finding yourself.
Exactly.
that's awesome. Val's
Val-
Gym. I think I'm going to change the name from S to Val's Gym.
Val-
Val's Gym.
Whatever. Same thing.
I know what it is.
I definitely like Val's gym, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
We got some time, maybe.
All right, well, I'm going to jump in because I'm usually the question person.
Okay.
Right, Val?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I got the whole thing going on here. So I would say to just jump right in, how do you define leadership, Faith?
Yeah, I mean,
As
it's
a
a broad
20-year-old.
question. It is. It's a broad question, but I think it depends who you ask, when you ask in their life. I think for me at this point in my life, playing college basketball, for me, a leader is someone who leads by example, is a person that those around them can always go to, whether it's good, whether it's bad, for advice. Someone who lifts up those around them, makes the people around them be at their best and be the best version of themselves. So I think it's somebody who just empowers others. It's not necessarily always the best player on the team. It's the person who does the little things to make sure everyone's on the same page at all times.
Yeah, I love that. And what are your qualities when you were going through? I mean, you played what, 6 seasons in top Division I basketball. What are the
6
qualities you
seasons.
bring to the table?
I think for me, my number one thing always, even when I was a kid, I'm a big talker. I think it was a big thing in basketball, even when I was a little freshman going to the court with all of these big grown seniors. I was always talking. I think communication is definitely number one key. It's a very important part of not just sports, but life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm also a leadership quality. I think for me, I'm a person that anybody can come to, whether they need to vent, whether they need to cry, whether they're happy. I'm definitely someone who loves celebrating others. So I think those
You
are.
you'll say you're like the mother hen.
I'm definitely the mother
Yeah,
hen. I've definitely gotten that nickname all throughout college.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
that was my nickname.
I think I
Granny
called her
too.
grandma today because she went to go do a reverse layup, and I'm just like, all right, you still got it. First step, like a grandma step, but you got it,
It's funny because those were my 2 nicknames in college.
boy. Look at
Well, you
that.
definitely have an old soul, which is beautiful.
Uh-huh.
I have to just go back to one thing here. You have 10 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you fit in the ranking order? The
I'm
birth
number
order?
6. That is my number, smack in the middle.
Do you guys like call yourselves numbers like number 1, 2, 3? Sometimes.
Sometimes I think it's easier for my mom because she'll call me 4 different names before she gets to my name.
I think that's everybody. My
That
mother used to call everybody else's name before mine.
Oh, 100.
Even my dog. I get my dog's name sometimes.
Oh boy. Get me some water. What's your name?
How many of those siblings played basketball?
All the girls at one point, all my sisters, so there's 5 boys, 5 girls. All the girls played basketball at one point, but 3 of us went on to play in college.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
cool.
We have a wide variety of sports in my family, not
Yeah.
just basketball. Some people
What
ask
did your
that question.
brothers play?
Oh, my brothers played lacrosse, football, hockey, baseball. Yeah.
Wow. All at Manasquan.
No, actually not. There was one of my brothers went to CBA, then he got drafted to the NHL, then moved out to Michigan to play for the USA team and go to high school there. So he was a
Wow.
very successful hockey player. He played at UConn. My other brother, he just graduated from college. He played both lacrosse and football in college at Norwich in Vermont, which is awesome. So yeah, there's a lot of sports in my family. It's
Yeah,
always
so
stuff
you are like
going on.
So what would you say that drives your motivation to want to do more as being the middle child, being that you're older, like your older siblings, like
Yeah,
with that?
definitely. I definitely had a good example growing up, and I think that like competitive nature and
I mean, your mama wasn't no slouch neither. Now,
she wasn't either. Both my
mama,
parents. My mom played basketball in college. My dad played rugby and lacrosse as well in college. So I think that was just instilled in me at a young age. And my thought process growing up was like, if you don't get a scholarship, who's paying to go to college?
yeah,
There's a lot of us. That's a lot of money right there. So that was definitely a driving factor for me.
Well, you said it before. Leadership. It all depends on where you are in the point in the pinnacle point of your life. And I agree with that. What would you say now at this point of your life? What is your perspective on leadership? And I think we started this conversation earlier, and then we with me, I go left, right, come back to it, go right, come back to it. And you started to hone on it earlier where you were talking about, like this point of your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I think also a huge leadership quality in this point of my life that I've been having to learn about leadership and just in life in general is adaptability. Being able to change routes and, kind of just go down your own path. Sometimes it might be alone, sometimes it might be with others, but once others see you doing it alone, they'll want to join along. And I think that's a big part of leadership is like not being the leader of the pack, but almost going down the right road and those who want to follow will follow.
100%.
Yeah, I think adaptability is a huge thing that might be even overlooked on leadership.
I like that word adaptability because you're. I think we spoke on this in our last episode, and where we're talking about you got to lead yourself first.
Yes.
And you said it again earlier as we started, where you were trying to figure out this part of your life and you're just going with the wave. And we say this often, you got to lose yourself in order to find yourself. And within that time, you're leading yourself to better things.
Mhm.
Um, and coming from a big family, I know like I'm the baby of, I'm gonna have to say the baby of 9. Gotta change that. My mother would kill me. Because
Wow.
you follow in the footsteps of others until you start to create your own footsteps. And I'm watching your transition here, and y'all are so close knit as a family, and it's the same way with mine. Like the competition pushes you to want to then recreate something yourself. Would you say that you're recreating the legacy?
I would say I'm on the way of recreating the legacy. My mom has definitely made that legacy very big.
Uh-huh.
So I'm on the way. It might look a little differently, and definitely differently than what I thought it would look like. That's another thing, adaptability. It's always going to be changing,
Mhm.
but I would love to think I was on the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree because I deal with a lot of the young athletes that play for your mother. Oh, we love Faith, and I'm just like, this girl can't mess up. Like she got so many eyes, but you don't think about it because you're just this person, and just spending time around you, just understanding how you've grown to be this young lady is like awesome.
Thank
And just seeing how many young eyes are just looking up to you and they light up when they see her. I'm just like, everybody asks me, who's that girl? I'm just like, that's Faith. I'm like, that's Faith.
Who's that girl walking around with the camera on her face?
Oh yeah. But yeah, so your presence is felt. And sometimes we don't always have to say things in order to be a leader. Kudos to you, kid.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think and going further with that is like there are so many kids, athletes that leave college and they think they have to follow a path that was laid before them. And what I've admired is that you're trying to find your own path and do something that you love. We have a lot of conversations about that, you and I, because I don't want you to be 45 years old like me and be like, oh, screw this. Like, I didn't want to be this, like in this box. Right. And so I think what is some advice you can give to what you've learned so far of even kids in college about the fear of what does it look like not being an athlete anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a hard pill to swallow. I think once an athlete, always an athlete.
Oh, yeah.
But being out of college and having to figure out, okay, what are my next steps? I mean, in college, I don't have any work experience. I really was basically taking a major that I didn't know what I was going to do with. I was just doing it because it was an option. So for me, I think one of the biggest blessings I had was having my 6th year in college. I came home, I was kind of separated from what I've known for the past 5 years. So I really had to dive into like myself and figure out what I wanted to do with my life. For the longest time, I would always tell people, I want to be a basketball coach. People would always tell me, like, you'd make a great basketball coach, this and that. So my answer was always like, okay, like, I'll just be a basketball coach. But my 6th year in college, I thought about it and I'm like, I couldn't imagine being a basketball coach right now. That's furthest from what I want to do. So I really just started thinking about like, what am I passionate about? What do I love? And it is what I'm doing now. But I think one of the hardest things was kind of accepting that and being able to tell those around me who have been giving me all this advice to be a coach that like, that's not what I want to do. So one of the biggest things I did was stick up for myself and be like, that's not what I want to do. Stop telling me what I want to do, this and that. But it is such an adjustment leaving college. You're not an athlete anymore. You don't have this routine. You don't have to wake up at 6 a.m. to do these workouts. But it is funny because I feel like I've gotten back into finding that athlete in myself of like, I need to work out. I need to do this. I need to do this. I can't sit still. So it's a big adjustment period, but it all works out in the end.
Creating new habits.
Oh,
Cre-
me and
cre-
Val are big
creating
into
cre-
this.
cre- creating new habits. I had to learn that. I always thought I could get up and go. Like you said, once an athlete, always an athlete. I catch myself nowadays. You see me, I might take off and take 3 steps with the kids running. Like I just foresee an Achilles tendon going somewhere, and I'm just
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I like the case of walking without support. So, I can agree with you on that. So can Ange. Ange is back
Oh,
out
yeah.
there coaching. Head coach field hockey at St. Rose. This great run in her first year back. So the standard is set. But you're within this leadership and this new role of becoming whatever you choose to do. Do you wake up every morning and just go, or are you planning, you gotta like with your plan. I know you have a plan because as athletes, we always have a game plan for our day. And you said it, once an athlete, always an athlete. You never going to a game without a game plan, right? Would you say you look at your days as games? I know I do.
See, I've never thought about it like that. For
So
me, I think
intense.
right now, my first year out of college, I'm not thinking that this is a game. I'm like, ooh, this is fun. I could do whatever I want with my day. Nobody's telling me I have to be here at this time for these many hours. So I think I wouldn't say I look at it as a game, but for me, it's like, okay, I wake up in the morning. It depends on the day. Am I running out the door to try to go get a workout in, or am I taking a slow morning, having some coffee, enjoying the ability of free time that I've never had? So I don't know if I would consider it a game, but like maybe subconsciously, yes. Because planning out what I'm going to do for the day, if I don't get these things done, I'm going to be upset with myself. So I understand. Yes, I can understand it could be a game because if I don't win the game, I'm upset. So
Yeah. So once an athlete, always an athlete.
yeah,
But you got to prepare yourself. You got to be prepared daily. Time. Like, not a lot of people. Like, you ever just wake up in the morning? Like, I know I'm up early and I'm getting up and I'm going, and you see a lot of people on the road and you wonder where they're going. And some are like in a constant rush. They lost control of time, and part of being a leader, you got to know how to slow down time and control time. So just hearing what you're saying and just looking at our three faces right here on this screen, we are all in control of time. Right. And that's why I was trying to get you to the point where you're your own boss. You get to control your own time. You
that's
just
the
get
goal.
up and to our audience, they need to understand that, time is precious and time is something where we can involve it whenever we want. And you chose a path where I think it's an awesome path and it's a evolving path for you. And, just watching us here on the screen, I see growth, right, in two powerful women that are going to do tremendous things because they're in control of their own time. And no matter what comes, you're going to continue to keep pushing forward because of your past. And I think as an athlete, sports are one of the greatest things. Somebody said football is the greatest sport ever created. I'm like, sports, period, are the greatest thing ever created because it teaches us, one, how to handle adversity, but one, how to cope with, change. You're creating, what do you say? You're adapting your lifestyle to become God knows what you want to become. And
Yeah.
it all just comes back to you now just preparing and controlling your time. So, I mean, it's awesome to see. I like to see people become successful with what they choose
Amen.
to do. So
Yeah. Follow your
keep
own path.
rolling. Keep it rolling.
What would you say? I almost called you Hope.
Okay, it's my sister's name.
And Faith, I can't. It's too close. What would you say, like, leading yourself first now? What are some, like, non-negotiables with yourself that get you centered in order to, like, face this pivot in your life where you're like, I'm going to take this path and it might be hard, but I have to lead myself first. So what are some things that you do?
I think it's choosing myself and like, I would say investing in myself, whether that's like, physically or if that's even like, I want to say like physical objects, like for me, like social media, like this is something so small, but to me it was a huge thing and it might sound silly, but like this year, a few weeks ago, was the first time I have ever bought a brand new iPhone, have gotten the most updated iPhone ever. For me, it's like a step of investing in myself because, I work from my phone and stuff like that. So having the ability to invest in yourself and believe in yourself and have people around you that believe in me, like the both of you, I think that is very important. But again, like being able to stick up for yourself and tell others that's not what I want to do. Do not, put me down because my path doesn't look how you envisioned it.
Well, I think, in the new age coming up, I mean, there are a lot of athletes that really should be using their platform for good. And maybe people don't understand enough that can be a career because you are you are giving women the confidence that you can get. I mean, I'm 48. What do you hope?
25.
25. I'm literally 20 3 years older than you, and you are giving me the confidence to believe that no matter how I show up, there is somebody watching that is going to be like, wow, I can do that. And maybe people look at it and it's like, oh, that's just like a makeup thing that she's doing. No, it isn't. She's getting up there. She's sharing something that's important to her. And that same thing is going to be important to somebody else. And so like, it is really empowering for women to show up exactly as they are. So more women need to see that. And especially as as someone that's supposed to have that job,
Yeah.
what
I
is
think
that?
it's also like another form of leadership because, if you even impact the life of one person, then that's enough. And
Mhm.
it's like the social media or like creating those memories or being able to like put your life out there is a form of leadership because, there are people watching and you could help people with little pieces of advice or some situations that you've gone through. Like for me, like I documented a lot of my ACL journey and the amount of people that have reached out to me, like asked me for advice, coming to me. Even some of my teammates who I played with who are still in college come to me to this day and are like, how do I get over this hump? How do I like change my mindset and stuff like that? So it's another form of leadership in a different, new, evolving way.
Here's a great quote for you is that I always try to remember if I want to take that risk to do something online. It's talk to one, reach many, because you don't know the ripple effect of just talking to one person. Like I came into this thinking I had to fill a room with thousands, but really in those thousands, if one walks away, that one reaches many. And
100%.
so it's a mindset that I go into with it. And then the second one that I actually heard this morning was this guy who was in prison for 20 years and now has made a life for himself way beyond anything that he believed could happen. And one of the things that he says is that if you aren't doing what you love, then you're never going to love what you're doing, And so I think it's just super powerful for people to remember that at this stage in their lives. So
Definitely.
Val, what do you got over there? Are you writing?
I'm always writing. I think I said this morning, I don't think whatever comes to my mind, it just comes out but, just listening and learning. A lot of times, you look at yourself as a leader. What would you say was like the biggest trait of you being a leader as a teammate? Was it more so you being vocal or, being that emotional leader? What kind of defined you as a leader on the basketball court, off the basketball court, as a teammate, as a friend?
I think my biggest thing was creating relationships with the people around me, especially like when I think about leadership, I think about my teammates. I still talk to my teammates to this day. They are some of my best friends. I'm marrying one of my teammates.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Let's
there
go,
you go.
Shaq.
But no, seriously, I think it really is just like the relationships I created. I would say that was probably like one of the best things about being a leader is being able to get really close with people. You get, you're going through all these same experiences. So you are able to connect with them and understand them and relate to them about so many different aspects, whether it's having to run a million suicides in practice or, being up at 5 a.m. that bonds you in a way that you would never know. But I think also another huge thing for me, like as a leader, I was always the person who was gathering people. So my room was always the room that had 100 people in it at once. We would be playing cards. We would be singing to music, doing karaoke, like so many things that you would never know that is a leadership trait is being able to like gather people and bring people together. Because off the court, getting closer and becoming like
Bond.
really good friends, it brings onto the court and just allows you to translate those connections and relationships.
Play a lot faster. I agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
coaches always gave us little stupid things to do. Like,
The
I
team
remember.
bonding, they work.
Not stupid, Val.
Listen,
At the time, you think they're
at
stupid.
the time, I thought
Okay.
it was dumb.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting here with 115 guys in the woods, and we're trying to figure out this team bonding with this military guy. And
Yeah.
everybody's sitting there and they're saying, "Well, this is stupid. I think I'm about to leave. I'm gonna escape." And there was punishment if you try to leave. And we had to stay there for like 24 hours. And I'm just like, this is insane. They got us walking across the river on a rope. I'm like, we're 300 pounds. There's no way we're walking across this rope. You put all of us on there, this thing better be super strong. But at the time, we were young and dumb. We were looking like, why do we got to do this? The question always hit, why we got to do this? Why we got to do that? So, and then we look back at it. That's what that's what made us like that tight knit group to where nothing can break us. Even when we had internal fights, like we fought as teammates. Practices was intense, and we'll get in fights, like literally full blown fist fights. Like O line, D line, for like a week, it was like a fight breaking out. Till Shiano said, "Enough! Enough is enough." And it just brought us closer together, and we had our own little stupid signals that we had, and all of a sudden you learn about each other, you learn who you can trust. I can kind of understand it. And my room, my dorm room, well, my dorm apartment at Rutgers was the spot to be. Like we make one phone call, you got everybody from Livingston campus to Bush campus. I think we broke a couple fire hazards that day, couple weeks. Parking lot parties where you open up your trunk and we're partying. So we get it. It's fun. Would you say? But being that we're all athletes, we all have these moments where leadership fails. Was there a pinnacle point where your leadership was not successful?
I mean, I think there's always points when leadership is not successful, but I think one of my things that I kind of not struggled with, but everyone used to be like, Faith, we don't know what you're saying. So one thing I was thinking about, because I was saying I communicated a lot. When I was on the basketball court, I would talk a lot. And half the time in my head, it makes sense. But when I'm saying it to other people, I'm just spitting words at them. And they're like, we don't know what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, but as long as I'm talking, that's good. They're like, no, you're not helping. So I think a big thing is, are you being helpful or are you just confusing other people? So being very intentional with like what I'm saying, what I'm doing, that was something I had to work on, like being a leader with intention.
So
There
well
was
said.
a specific moment, but that was probably
That's awesome.
But if you didn't have that bond with your teammates, would have came back and said it? Because I know sometimes you see me in the gym, I can go a little off center. Sometimes I'm like, what the hell did I just say? I'm pretty sure the kids does, but a lot of them now create that bond with me where they'll come back and be like, what were you talking about? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what the hell I was talking about. Just listen. Listen to the message.
But
You know?
that like that relationship, it helps everything. Like being able to, especially I was going to talk about this before, but one of the biggest things is being able to hold your teammates accountable, whether that's, telling them what they need to do better, telling them what they've been doing wrong, or telling them what they've been doing right, and vice versa for you. But being able to create that bond, you're able to keep them on the right track and it doesn't get personal. And one of the biggest things and one of the best things at Maryland was, again, we would be fighting on the court. Me and Diamond Miller used to go at it all the time, as she was one of my best friends. We roomed together for 4 years. She was like, we came in together, whatever, we left together, even though I was still there. But we used to go at it on the court. But when we got home, everything that happened on the court stayed on the court. When we got home, it was fine. We were hanging out, we were cooking together, all that. So having that relationship was one of the greatest things ever.
Yeah, that's a lot of egos going on over there, right? Because
Yeah,
like
100%.
it's like two alphas, like
Did you say eagles?
alphas.
Egos.
Egos. I was like,
egos.
you're calling them eagles now? I'm like, now I'm going to stop.
Egos. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got two strong-minded people like that, like I've seen Diamond play in high school. She went to my high school. And I used to go, I'm like, let me see what the girls of basketball do. So what's the hype about? And I'm like, okay, and I watched her play through Maryland. I watched Faith play through Maryland. I watched Shy play on Maryland. I'm like, okay, these girls can hoop. And I'm just like, that's a lot of alphas out there. Like Shy ain't backing down from nobody. Faith ain't backing down from and that's why y'all were one of the toughest teams. And I'm just like, you got. I'm like, this is something to watch. Like the attitudes.
Yeah. Well, it's being able to morph all those egos and attitudes together so they are cohesive. That
But
was
here's
big.
the question though, because you got I just mentioned you, Shy, and Diamond, right? Like, how did your coach handle that? How did your coach get to lead y'all? Because you're talking about taking the best from the best from the best and putting them into a program. Like, I think it's so hard for coaches to say, okay, I get 10 5-star athletes, and I got to find a way. I got to figure out how to make them play together.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, especially my coach Brenda at Maryland, she was very big on like bonding. So we used to go on retreats, team retreats, where we would just be together. We would do like all these activities and literally create the bond so we could, again, hold each other accountable. But I think The biggest thing was everyone needing to understand and take on a different role. You bring in the best of the best from all over the country, all over the world. Not everybody can be the best of the best in college. So I think, like, again, being able to understand your role and do that to the best of your ability. Like when I got to college, coming out of high school, I did really well in high school. I had 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, stuff like that. But when I got to college, my role completely shifted. I had to figure out what I had to do to get onto the floor. And it wasn't scoring points. I wasn't the top player on my team. It was being a leader, communicating, defense, like doing all the little things, being the hustle player, like everything like that. But that is what got me on the floor. And that's what made me successful in college. So one of the biggest things is understanding and taking on that role. It could be a hit on the ego, but you got to do what you got to do.
Well, you made the sacrifice,
Yeah.
and a successful night for you at that point was probably 10-10-8,
Yeah.
where it was a crucial part. And
Yeah.
you're that leader, from the defensive standpoint, but also in other categories. Okay, I didn't average 25 tonight, right? But one night you're going to average 25 because they're going to be like, well, let's not focus on her, right? We
Yeah.
got to stop this. So you're going to be on the backside. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the things as a coach is taking elite players like that and then molding them into their system. And so would you say the leadership came from the coach because they started, right? And then y'all say, nah, I'm taking the driver's seat now because this is our team. What point was that for y'all to be successful at Maryland where y'all said, all right, coach, we understand it. Now let us take it from here.
Yeah, I think they used to call it a player-led locker room. So I'm not sure if that's like a universal thing, but that was
Yeah,
something
love
that
that.
we were very big on at Maryland is a player-led locker room. And whether that's on the court or off the court, we have to, again, it's like the holding each other accountable. They're like, make sure everybody's there on time, everybody's ready. If somebody's not going 100%, you need to be the one to tell them or tell them to get out. There were the amount of, I've been through it in the locker room. I've been with a lot of players. I was in college for 6 years. We would have fights in the locker room being, oh, a lot of things. A lot of things. But at the end of the day, it's so our team could be successful and be the best we could be. I mean, NCAA tournaments after tournaments, Elite Eights, Sweet 16s, it was definitely all worth it in the end. But some
You
things
wouldn't,
have to be said.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
wouldn't have gotten there. It's called vulnerability.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have gotten there if you weren't real with each other
Yeah.
because you can't get to the next level when you're comfortable. You have to be
100%.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, this here is probably going to be my biggest question because I was on a rage this morning about this, and I have to do this because I am so fed up with college sports and this damn portal. And I just wouldn't turn it off because it's killing high school sports. It's killing high school recruiting. If they kill the portal, if they just kill the portal, it will revamp high school recruiting for every single sport, and it will take their roster spots back up. I can't win the deal with NIL. You know how I feel about NIL. I can't win it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to win that battle. But you played at Maryland, and then you went to Seton Hall. Would you say you took some of those things that you did at Maryland and brought it to Seton Hall? And how was that reciprocated? Because now you're
100%.
talking two completely different programs.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think for when I wanted to be a coach, that was a big thing for me, being able to go to not a Power 5 program, to go to somewhere that had a male head coach, to see the differences and to just honestly learn from it. But even going to Seton Hall, Tony Bozzella, the coach at Seton Hall, he told me, he's like, I want you to bring those attributes from Maryland, bring it to our program to make our program better. So there was a lot of things that I brought from Maryland that I learned that I'm like, oh, I didn't know other people didn't do this. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. So yeah, no, I definitely brought different things. I can't exactly remember what, like, I didn't understand that not every school did this. But one thing that I used to do that all the girls on the team thought was so funny, we would have 8 a.m. practice. You have to get there an hour and a half before. You got to get taped, warmed up, dressed, all this and all that. And every single morning, if it was an early morning practice, I would text in the group chat and I'd be like, is everyone awake? If you didn't like the message, I was calling you. I was knocking on your door. I'm like, get up. I don't want to run because you're late. But that was something that we did at Maryland that I brought over to Seton Hall, and they're like, "Why are you doing this?" At first, they're like, "Stop texting us," and I'm like, "No, because one day one of you is going to be late, and I don't want to run for that."
The leader.
Yeah. That's some good quality traits, because that's always the thing with me with the portal. You leave a program, go to another program, but what is your sight? What is your perspective of wanting to go to that program? Could it
Yeah.
be because they offer me more NIL money, or because I want to go make a difference? I know in my side, I'm looking at it both ways. If I'm in today's era,
Yeah.
if this was a thing when I played, I don't think I would have left my school where I was, because I'm such a loyal person. Loyalty plays a big part with me when it comes to, no matter what, I could walk through the thick of the mud and my feet will stay stuck, but I have an opportunity to keep moving forward with this coach, because he invested in me by coming to recruit me,
Yeah.
so, and I didn't have to be the captain, but come game day, it's game time.
Yeah.
And did they label you a captain when you went to Seton Hall?
Yes, they did. I was a captain 2 years at Maryland, and then a captain also at Seton Hall. But like, again, you're talking about like the loyalty. It was the hardest decision. I did not take it lightly for me to enter the transfer portal. I was down bad for a date. I'm like, what am I going to do? But for me, I was too comfortable in my
Environment.
Maryland. I knew everything around me. I was there for so long, and I'm just like, I feel like there's nothing left here for me. I was like, I need to be able to leave and change and grow. And I'm like, and going home was probably one of the best decisions. I've missed out on stuff with my family for the past 5 years. Like, I want to be around all this and all that. So I did not take that lightly. But throughout my time at Maryland, we used to have player changes every single year. We'd have 9 new players come in every single year. So the portal is a very big thing, very big business now.
I'm telling you, just NCAA, just kill it.
Yeah.
Just kill it. Don't edit this part neither. Just kill the portal.
Listen,
It will 100% help these athletes that are in high school to get recruited.
yes.
Stop the portal crap out.
That, and teach some values.
I'm
Yes.
trying
And
to tell you,
Loyalty
deal with
values.
hard. Deal with hard, not just
Yeah.
run from it.
they loyal.
Yes.
A coach recruits you, you want to abort the mission because you ain't getting enough playing time. Work harder, damn it. That's what I say.
All right, I'm gonna switch a little gear here just to get a little deeper. So you spoke of your mom, okay, of course, leading a family, leading her own business. I want to hear the top leadership qualities you saw in your mom and then in your coach.
Yeah, okay. Top leadership qualities, I would say, in my mother. I would say one thing about her is she doesn't change the way she is as a coach or as a person for anyone. If you're not upholding her standards, she will let you know. And she will make sure you kind of mold into that standard. And one thing about her, the best thing about her, she still gets texts from her old AAU players and stuff like this, how, my mom changed their lives and how much they impacted her. I think one thing about her is she is very impactful and will not only make you a better athlete, but a better person. So I think those are definitely her top leadership qualities.
Awesome.
And you said about my coach.
Yeah, your Maryland coach or whatever coach made the biggest difference.
I mean, honestly, both my coaches, I could put them into a category. I think for them, both of them leading by example, and they were both very passionate people. So their leadership quality, I would say, is like showing their passion and excitement for, the people around them and the achievements that their players, their staff, everyone, they're both very passionate. So just finding the passion in what they love to do is definitely, I saw as a leadership quality.
Awesome. Very cool. Love that. I mean, that's where you learn it from, right? We learn it from the people before us, and then we carry in and we add our little sprinkles of who we are, but ultimately that set the foundation for us. That's why our job is so important to set that foundation for these kids, and why we don't take it lightly. Why Val hates the transfer portal.
People are a product of their environment.
Yes.
Listen, the only reason I'm talking about the transfer portal because I'm in it. So me, and I'm hands on with my athletes, and all right, we got to do this. We got to stay ahead of the curve because this is a dead period. So you got to just kill the portal. And then
Mhm.
get back on your jets, get them the damn cars, get this
Mhm.
university, start spending that money. Say, I'm going on the road. I need to hit Bergen County, Monmouth County, Ocean County, Middlesex. I need to get down in Baton Rouge. I got to go to Muck City, Alabama. I got to go find my players. All right. And instead of waiting for somebody in the portal, go out and recruit them, because you'll change a young man's life just by saying, I want to offer you a scholarship, and get back to the roots of, being, a
Development.
program.
Mhm.
There's no more programs. And it's now a business. And anybody know anything about a business, it can spiral downhill fast, or you can just plateau, and there is no more. Like, leadership is gone from the college sports. I'm sorry. Like, you have the successful coaches that will stay the course with what they believe in. They believe in Novocaine, they're gonna stay with Nova. It's give it time, it's gonna work. Then you got the ones that, I'm gonna go get the next best thing.
Mhm.
That's easy.
Mhm.
They're afraid of hard. They're afraid of leading young men. I want the old men to come in. I want a 22-year-old to come in and give me my 2 years. We'll be successful for 2 years.
Mhm.
That's easy. That's easy, right? You want to create something inside of a young man and women, but you got to be able to create it inside of yourself in order to go ahead and then change their lives. So that way now they change the next generation. You talk about a snowball effect. That's what we're talking about as being leaders. We got to have a snowball effect with what we do. So I say this about money. You give me $1, I'm going to figure out how to make it $2. I turn 2 into 4. All of a sudden, it starts to grow. And that's how we spread the message. If I'm talking to one, one's going to go talk to another one. That person's going to talk to 5. 5 is going to talk to 10. And all of a sudden, it starts growing like a tree. So everybody starts to get the message, and it always comes back to the main message. It might get shifted, or we shift our stories as we go, but the message is still being delivered. So, I can go on and on, but
We've got a couple
you know,
minutes left.
well, it's a passion, with anything that we do as, motivators, mentors, guiders, anybody that's somebody that looks up to you, but there's always a message behind everything. And being that we have faith on here, my final question is probably going to be the final question for today's episode is, what's the one thing you want athletes to listen to take away about leadership coming from you?
I think the biggest thing that especially young athletes need to understand is you don't need to be the best player on your team to be a leader. You can bring leadership qualities to make your team better, whether you're sitting on the bench, whether you're injured, whether you're playing 2 minutes a game, whether you're playing 10 minutes a game. There are things that you can do to impact your team and impact people around you. So I think that's the
Awesome.
biggest thing.
Well said. Love
Yes.
it. There's a lot of good nuggets in there, Faith, for a 25-year-old. You have it
Thank
going
you.
on, and you're going to help a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah, grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
grandma.
know, man.
Yeah, mother hen.
Oh my God.
Oh
I
yeah,
can't.
that's mother hen right there.
All right. Well, till next time, you guys stay on because it has to download to each of you. All right. So just till next
Good job.
time, peace out.
Peace.